Today we have the unboxing and review of the Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Age. Now this is something of a grail pen for a lot of people, and it is something that I became interested in when I started sort of getting into fountain pens. Now this particular one is my uni pen. It was my gift to myself for getting into university. It comes with a fake leather case. It's kind of stiff. It's probably cardboard inside. Inside, of course, you'll have sort of some documentation, warranty information, etc. And then you'll have the pen itself. It's usually in a plastic sleeve. I've been using this for some time, so my presentation differs to what you'll probably see in a retail box. Now, when I first started doing my homework with regards to fountain pens, Visconti as a manufacturer came up quite a bit, usually within the context of the innovations they've made and some of the special editions they've done. And of course, one of Visconti's famous products is the Homo Sapiens Bronze Age that we have here. Now, this was a pen that I purchased as a kind of gift to myself for getting into university. It is effectively my uni pen, and it is something that I envisioned continuing on with me for my entire degree. It's something that I've used in the workplace as well. Because of the material of this particular pen, it's actually made from volcanic rock that I believe has been crushed up and mixed with other materials and produces this barrel. Because it is a bit sturdier than some of the other resin pens that I own, I didn't have any concerns with taking this out to the office, throwing it in a bag, inside a case of course, or putting it in a shirt pocket, and just sort of taking it out and about and using it in the field, so to speak. There are other pens that I've tried to do that with that just do not survive very well out in the real world, which is a bit disappointing, but this has definitely been one that I feel comfortable just throwing into a pouch or a soft part of the bag. You know, those small little compartments you'll find in a lot of backpacks where you can put, well, ideally you're supposed to put headphones and smartphones and other things, but I find that they're usually padded enough to fit a pen without scratching it up. So I've been able to throw this into a backpack, one of those pouches, or a folio, take it across to meetings, use it as the daily writer in the office, and it's been fine. I've never had any concerns about it. I don't mind if other people were to handle it, because I don't think they could really hurt it too much. They usually become intimidated when they see the big nib and they run away, which, you know, you do. Some of the pens I own, they're resin, they're a bit more fragile. I won't let anyone else who doesn't know fountain pens sort of near them, because I have too much of a concern that they'll drop them and break them, and I'll be out a very expensive and very good fountain pen. So the Visconti uses a vacuum filling system. So what you'll do is you unscrew the piston, draw that out, place the nib inside bottled ink, and then you depress that sort of plunger down. The vacuum it creates sucks the ink up, and then that's how you get a fill into your Visconti Homo Sapiens. Now, I have found that I'm usually able to get about 38 pages worth of writing out of one fill. So this is the pen with the largest capacity of ink that I own. It's definitely something that I'll fill and then probably write out every 2 or 3 days, and then do another refill. So it's not something that would ever give me concern that I don't have enough ink for a day, even if I was to go outside and like not have access to my inks and so on and so forth. So this is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Age. This is currently inked up with Visconti's red ink at the moment. Now, I generally don't post my pens. I don't bother with it. You can, in this case. So that's something that's an option if you prefer a longer, heavier pen. I never do it, so it's not a consideration for me. So I find the nib has just the right amount of ink, flows well. I can write things as large or as small as I need to, without any kind of issue or stress. So if I am out in the real world and I need to fill in a form or something, this is a pen that I can easily fit on any of those weird forms that we have to do as we go through life. But I can also use it for my own journaling, my own notes. It is a bit more versatile than some other pens that I have. Now, the Visconti Bronze Age here is a pen that I consider a bit more rugged and reliable than some other ones that I've used. Now, I am someone who brings his writing instruments out into the world, into the field, so to speak, so I will use these pens in the office. Some pens I will trust, like this one here, and some I won't trust. So I have in the past used Waterman Koren. There was a bit of an accident there. I've talked about that in a separate video. The Visconti here is something that I'll have no problem bringing out to a meeting, taking notes, recording minutes, brainstorming ideas. It's something that I'll have no problem handing to someone else to use as well. I just feel that it is a reliable writing instrument. It doesn't really leak. It doesn't have too many problems in that space. I will call out though that the section here is made of a very porous material like the rest of the pen. So if you are filling your pen and you accidentally get some ink on the section here, it will sink in and it will become a bit of a problem. Furthermore, it will transfer to the inside of the cap. So even if you do clean it off, if you've capped your pen first, the same ink will then transfer back and forth, which is quite annoying, and it takes a while to get that cleaned up. Because the section is so small, I find that there's very little ink transfer, even if there is a bit of a faux pas when it comes to filling your pen, and it's not too noticeable. So if worst case scenario I did uncap this, get a bit of ink on my hand, and then have to shake hands as we finish up the meeting at the end, if I'm talking to a client, for example, it's not going to be too much, it's not going to be too noticeable, it's not going to raise any eyebrows. So I do trust this pen to come out with me to client meetings, to be in a case, to be in a pocket, shirt pocket, to be in a folio or a folder, depending on where I'm going and who I'm meeting with. Now, I've seen a lot of chatter and commentary in relation to the Visconti that it's something of a grail pen for a lot of people. Now, if this was the only pen that I could own, so if I was on the proverbial desert island, then I'd have no problems using this one. It's an amazing writing instrument, definitely one that I enjoy. I personally have another pen that I prefer as my number one, which I'll be doing a video on in the near future. But if I could only have one, I would definitely not be disappointed with this. The hype that you've heard is real. If you do have the opportunity to try one of these, by all means try it, and if you do have the privilege of owning one, then you will definitely not be disappointed by this writing instrument over the years.